Welcome to Love Amanda. My next guest is the matchmaker of the Carolinas. I am so excited to welcome Laurie Berzack to the podcast. Welcome, Laurie.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I have never really met a matchmaker before, and I really think your profession is one of the coolest and most intriguing professions there truly is.
Well, I understand there are not that many of us. And it is an incredible profession, and you need to be good at a lot of things in order to really get through the day. So it's fun.
How did you get into becoming a matchmaker?
Yeah, it's a great question, Amanda. And I'll tell you that I've always been in love with the idea of being in love. In fact, in my senior year yearbook, grew up outside of Philadelphia. I went to an all-girls school. There were 42 of us in our graduating class, and I was named most likely to fall in love with the idea of falling in love. And I just found that recently. I was like, yeah, that tracks. So like my entire life, just been about like connecting people and just figuring out what does somebody need. And whatever it is, I try to help them, whether it's a job, a friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever it is. And I'm good at it. I'm like really intuitive. I'm like a little tiny bit psychic. And then also I just have like all this experience. So when I was, it's been actually 20 years now, it'll be 20 years in June. So 20 years ago, I had like 2 young kids, and I was like, I know there is something like really big I'm supposed to do in my life. And I met a woman that I was friends with in the grocery store, and she was like crying to me and telling me that she was going through a divorce. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to help her find somebody? And then I read this book about matchmaking, and then I hooked 2 people up, and they were so excited and they fell in love. And I was like, okay, this is it. I am so hooked. The guy was so excited. He's like, oh, Laurie, thank you so much. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to do this. And I just started.
Wow. So you just had that innate way to recognize what people need and who would be best for them. That's definitely hard. So what would you call your matchmaking philosophy? How do you find those characteristics that you feel like would be a good match?
Well, I feel like what's really most important is the foundational elements, obviously attraction as well. So when I'm making a match, I'm looking at the whole person, not just physically and aesthetically, but also, we go deep. It's like, all about, your faith, your politics, what your interests are a bit. But I think it's really important to have different interests too. But how do you actually look at the world? What is your sense of humor? What's your personality like? Is this somebody that you want to potentially be best friends with? Mm-hmm. So I look at all of that, and then I think about not just what they tell me they're looking for, but who I think would be good for them. And I make a match.
Wow. So I'm sure a lot with those matchmaking, you also are a therapist to them in the same right. Did you ever have to get involved when someone, let's say, had a bad date that you set them up on?
Oh, yeah. And I have my master's in social work, and I have 2 staff members that help me with all of this, and they also do as well therapy. I mean, it's all about it, but it's more for us. It's more about coaching. And believe me, I mean, I have over 70% success rate of people going on second dates, which is like so high, in my opinion. It's really remarkable. But there's a lot of times where we have to get some coaching. I mean, just today I did it. I suggested to someone a few things. And one of them was, for her, I told her that, she was kind of commenting a little bit on like his humor and wasn't sure if she was really jiving with it. And I said, listen, no one's going to be perfect. And if that's like the only thing that you're not into because he kind of is a little bit sarcastic, I gave her ways to address it with him. And I told her, and if it doesn't stop, then he's not your person. But sometimes people just need to be told, listen, this isn't resonating with me. And, because behind sarcasm is a little bit of unkindness, and nobody needs that in life. Like, it's hard enough. Just be kind to people. So she heard what I said, and she loves all my coaching. She's like a sponge. And then I said to him, make sure you ask her out sooner than later, because if you wait 10 days to see each other again, things can really fizzle out. So that was just like from this morning's coaching. It's always something.
I saw that you had a topic on limerence. And
Yes.
that, speaks to so many people because we get obsessed. We could check their social media and see they've been online, but they did not text me
Yep.
back. And then we become
Yep.
obsessive. So
Mhm.
obviously, we didn't have that back in the day.
Well, I think that there's always been limerence, but we didn't have a name for it. And I feel like, hasn't everyone had that experience
Mhm.
where you obsess on somebody so much, but really, what you're really obsessing about, in my opinion, is you have this idea in your mind of who they are. You make up this entire story and scenario and love affair with somebody who you don't even really know. You're just kind of hoping that they're going to be that way. You create this whole story and then you just start going after it. And yes, you're checking their socials and you're trying to figure out where they are and all the different things. But really, what people need to focus on is themselves because they're looking outside of themselves for validation and they're thinking that that person will complete them. But really, we just need to complete ourselves. That's like so important. Do whatever you need to do. Get to therapy, start meditating, get to the gym, just do different things, start moving your body so that you can stop that constant rumination of that person in your brain. It's a big problem. Yeah, it stops people from falling in love again. They get, in fact, I talked to a guy just today who said, I keep thinking about the woman that I should have married in my 30s and he's in his 50s now. And I thought, and I gave him so much advice. And one of the things that I told him, aside from reading The Untethered Soul, which is a phenomenal book, our brains are not capable of figuring something out sometimes. But what we do is we keep churning it over and over and over and over again and ruminating over something. It's not healthy and we're not going to figure it out. And the only way that we can stop with limerence and with all these ruminating thoughts is to literally change the synapses in our brains. And that you can do through meditation. And it's just easy. Whenever a thought comes in, you let it go. That's the practice of meditation. And then you can practice it with other things in your life. It's so valuable.
Oh, thank you so much for that because that is definitely something that we can become focusing on. And then we don't want to get into another relationship because we don't want to have to go through that again. But healthy relationships really don't have that anyway. So
No.
now, what do you find have been the biggest traits that men ask for? And then what have been the biggest traits that you feel women are looking for?
I think men are, first of all, they're a lot more visual than women are. And if a guy goes on a date and he's like highly attracted to someone, terrific. There could be other things that need to be uncovered, but if the attraction there, it has good potential for a second date. If the attraction isn't there, it's unlikely that it will be in the future. So I've learned as a matchmaker, listen to that. Now women, our brains are a little more expansive in that particular area. And I've had a lot of women say to me, you know what, Laurie, I'm not sure if I'm attracted to him, but he had a great sense of humor. I thought that I love the way he talked about his family and he's like super ambitious and he's just got a lot of the qualities I'm looking for. Before you know it, they're in love. She's like, oh, he's adorable. It just, you can switch. Our brains can be switched. But I think that is like one of the main differences between men and women is that initial thought and how you can change it or not. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
so what I get from that is that men, if they don't have that instant attraction right away, they really can't grow into it. Whereas women, they could grow into that attraction easier.
Yeah. Now, there's two exceptions with men that I've found. Number one is when they keep seeing the same person over and over and over and over again, could be at a workplace or, maybe a place of worship or a class or something like that where somebody can grow on you. But that's not what happens with modern dating. Modern dating is you go on a Hinge date and it's a yes or a no. But if you're constantly seeing somebody and it's less common as you get older and you're not in college anymore or whatnot, sometimes people switch it up that way. Or sometimes with a widower where, one of his late wife's friends are sort of coming around and you're seeing them more and more often. Sometimes an attraction can grow there.
Now, how do you determine someone's compatibility? How do you know that you can set someone up with one of your clients?
That's a great question. And I do look at some of the things we were talking about earlier. I'm looking at where did they grow up? How did they grow up? What are they looking for in their life? What is their sense of humor? What is their personality? Do they attend a place of worship? Do they believe in a higher power? That's a big one, especially down south to look at and examine. Politics has a lot that's playing in all of my introductions nowadays. What I'm hearing mostly from people about politics, interestingly, is they just don't want somebody on an extreme one way or another. Most people are in the middle from who I'm talking to. It's really interesting. But if they say that they're not in the middle and they don't want this or they don't want that, I make sure that I'm not making an introduction where it's from the beginning, it's just not going to work. Because I would hate for that to happen. Two people fall in love, but they realize, yikes. Same thing with kids. If they want to have kids, don't want to have kids, or they have kids already, need to make sure what ages are the kids, so we get pretty detailed with the matchmaking. It's not a dating service with Carolina's Matchmaker. It's authentic matchmaking. So I want to make sure that before somebody goes on a first date, like all the boxes are checked, and then hopefully there'll be attraction. It's a blind date.
Right. And my last question before we go on to some questions from the viewers is, yes. Now, do you feel that social media has hindered matchmaking, or do you feel like maybe it helped more because they realize I'm not getting anywhere on these apps?
Yeah. I think that people are exhausted from the apps. Now, listen, I've helped people with the apps and gotten a lot of people married. In fact, I was just at a wedding like a month and a half ago from somebody who met online. So I'm never going to put that down, and I don't suggest that people do, but people are fatigued. And so I think people call me up and they're like, I am so sick of the apps. Take me out of this and just get me in front of people that are quality. And that's what I love to do. So, I think, and then in terms of social media, obviously, we put on our most beautiful faces for social media. I mean, that's one reason I actually like TikTok the best, if we're going to talk about social media. But, when I make a match, I don't give even a first name. So people can't check each other out on social media until later, because otherwise they're going to get this whole story in their mind about who that person is. And it's inauthentic. And I think nowadays people are wanting transparency more than anything else in life. And I think that's the beautiful thing about matchmaking. It's transparent.
Right. And what you said is so true, because I would definitely start to look them up on Google, on social media, and then already start analyzing their pictures. And and I could even say, yeah, I'm not interested without even meeting them. So
yeah, you can tell so much from a picture and not.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it is just what we put out there, what we want people to see. It doesn't mean that's their life. Well, I do have some questions from the viewers. So let's see. What's the biggest mistake people make on the first date?
They drink too much. I always tell them, does that resonate?
Yeah. I don't like that either.
Yeah, everyone's done it. And it's a mistake. And the reason it's a mistake is, number one, people, they're not careful about what they're saying. All of a sudden they're cursing more, or they're staring too intently, or there's a big makeout session afterwards that happened years ago. And he was excited. He's like, we made out afterwards. So great. And she's like, I did not like him. And I'm like, what happened? She's like, I drank too much and we just got a little sloppy. You don't want to be sloppy on a date. You need to be intuitive, and you need to be listening to your gut. And when you drink too much, your gut goes away. You just don't pay attention anymore.
That's so true.
So that's literally my best advice. If you want to have a drink, have a drink. Or so many people nowadays don't even drink anymore. It's like, grab a great mocktail and go for it, but most importantly, just really try to be present.
Yeah, that's great advice. And also I could see people being nervous, and maybe that's why they want to drink, and then oops.
Yeah. Lubricant. Also make sure to eat something, if you do go for drinks, like get a little bite. When I send my people out on dates, we send them to like a nice bar restaurant, and either, sit at the counter or like on a high top, and have a couple appetizers and a drink or a mocktail, and just get to know each other. So like a little vibey.
Yeah, so you could even be at the bar or a table.
Yeah, but no big formal dinner.
Right. And also, people always talk about the things you eat on a first date. Oh, avoid, salad, it could get in the teeth, or soup because of slurping. Do you feel that way?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, listen, it happens. So I always recommend bring a little pocket mirror or excuse yourself for a few minutes and go to the restroom and make sure your teeth are okay. It's a little awkward.
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
do you recommend dating multiple people at once or focusing on one person at a time?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong if you're online dating to be dating different people. The key is to keep it romantic light. So don't sleep with them until you are in love. I'm a big proponent of that because you have the rest of your life to do that, but you have a very small window of opportunity to really get to know each other on an emotional level where the physicality of the relationship is on the back burner. It's also very exciting to wait as long as you possibly can. So that's my advice to all people. And I have
Yes.
people are way too fast to jump into bed now, and I mean it's been going on for a long time. Like people that have been divorced think, oh, well, I've already done that. It's not like I'm a maiden, or, in high school, I'm still a virgin. What does it matter? But where it really matters is then basically your amygdala separates from your brainstem and you're not thinking clearly. It's exciting. You're getting a rush from it all. And you're not really thinking, is this somebody I want to be with in the long run? If you're authentically looking for a long-term relationship. Now, if you just want to have fun, like, I mean, I'm not here to tell you not to do things, but I'm just saying if you're authentically looking for a relationship, pause on that, pause on sex, and just really get to know the other person and make sure they're really somebody that you want to be spending time with. Because once you sleep with them, especially for women, women don't want to date multiple people after that point. So keep your options open for as long as possible. You want to watch and see for both men and women, how is that person treating me? How is the communication? Are they thoughtful? Again, how are they talking about their families? Are they acting in the world the way that I appreciate? Is this somebody that has stick with itness? Once you see all those things, that's what really makes you excited and really fall in love. But before that, you need to really test it out.
Yeah, and that's what I've been practicing as I've been divorced. And I feel like, yeah, that's your way of getting to know someone better. And also, when that happens, there's a unity there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a connection. And then maybe you want to hang on longer than you really need to be because of that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
great
Mm-hmm.
advice.
There are a lot of people, though, that as soon as they meet somebody that they're even somewhat interested in, and they've gone out a couple times, they feel kind of guilty about dating somebody else. And that's fine. If that's not what you want to do, just continue seeing that one person through. So, I can kind of go both ways. And sometimes people are excited, especially it's been a long time since they met somebody that they were into. They're like, okay, let's pause for a moment to see where this goes. And I
Yeah.
can appreciate that.
Right. And I see it with online dating. Obviously, you want to get to know people. And so that's okay to go on a few dates with people. But when I
Yeah.
get to know someone, really get to know someone, there's no way for me to be able to get, deep with someone else because you can't really remember, oh, did that guy have the older sister or was he the only child? You start to
Right.
mix in their life experiences.
Yeah. And you know what, Amanda? I don't know if you've had this experience, but what I've observed anecdotally, if people go on 5 dates, they determine if they want to become exclusive with each other.
Really?
That is the cutoff point, 5 dates. Unless they're like in their late 60s. I've noticed sometimes people wait a little bit longer than 5 dates to become exclusive, but your age, my age, all ages wait about 5 dates and then they're like, okay, this is somebody I'm really into. So get to date 5 and it'll turn into something.
That makes sense because yeah, after five, if you really don't see something with that person, then you just
Yeah.
let them know.
Yeah, you move on. Hmm.
Right. Oh, I love that. So it's the five rule.
Yeah. I mean, all the like all the small talk you're done with. And so you're really having to go into deep conversation. So it's either there or it's not.
Right. Yeah. What do you
Mm-hmm.
find the differences are between men and women in dating? Is there one fundamental difference, or maybe there aren't any differences?
No, but I'll say something. Women oftentimes have a really wonderful support system. And we go and talk to our girlfriends about all the things that are going on in our lives. And men don't always have that.
Hmm.
So I do think that sometimes they get even more emotional around a relationship than women do because who are they going to tell? So if they're kind of like a warm softie, a romantic, I do feel like they can really fall even harder than women can. And they kind of completely lose themselves in the relationship, and they'll just do anything for their woman. And, they really need positive reinforcement and, lots of wonderful attention. Sometimes even, a lot of men don't get hugs unless it's their girlfriend or wife. If you really think about it, women are like, oh my God, you're so adorable. I love you. Huggy, huggy with all their girls. But men aren't like that. So they really are getting a lot of that from one person.
That is a wonderful response. So, how can we separate lust from love?
Well, I think the key is what we talked about earlier, separating out the sex from the emotional talk. Like try to get to as deep an emotion as you can without the physicality part. And lust is more about what you're getting, and love is more about what you're giving. And also, are you in it because you want to receive something, or are you in it because you just adore the person and you just want to do everything you can for them? You can't stop thinking about them. That's when you really know you're in love, is when you're like, okay, what can I do for them? What do I want to give them? I'm so excited about them.
Well, thank you. So let's say if you were to match me or anyone, how does that process start, and how can someone get started with it?
Yes, I love that question. Thank you. So essentially, what I would love for you to do is fill out a complimentary profile on my website, carolinasmatchmaker.com. And then once you do, I'll take a look at it. If you're a great match for one of my current clients, you could receive a complimentary introduction. We'll send you out on a fun date. Obviously, we'll screen you out really well and see if you're a good match for our client. Send you out on a date, and then we'll get date feedback afterwards. So it's a very comprehensive situation, and we love it. And if you're interested in becoming a client, we can talk about if that's something, if we can represent you, and if we can, propose a program for you. And sometimes people hire me for a 1-hour consultation, and we go over everything they're doing online, try to figure out how they can meet people organically, and just sort of go through whatever issues they might be experiencing right now with dating and relationship.
Okay, perfect. Now, I did see your bachelorette giveaway. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I love doing a little contest. So right now, what we're doing is we're encouraging people in the Carolinas, specifically Charlotte, but it would be nice to have people from all over the Carolinas submit a profile on carolinasmatchmaker.com and women, and we're going to select one bachelorette, and we are then going to conduct a search for a great guy for her. And it's so much fun. I just did it in the reverse for a bachelor. And I matched him with a woman, and they've already gone on like 4 dates. And I'm like, okay, the 5th date's coming up. I wonder if this is a real match or not. Let's see what happens. But he had so much fun, and it's just a great way to get into the database, to be considered, and then to be considered in the future. So it's literally no zero risk, all winning.
And when does that start?
So I am selecting my bachelorette probably in about a week or so. I'm waiting for more applicants to come through. And when I see her, I'm going to know her. And then once I do, then I will start interviewing, putting it out there about what kind of bachelor we're looking for her, and screen out the men, do all the things, and then make the match. And they're going to be going to Sneak Charlotte for their date, which is just this fun, swanky little bar in Charlotte.
Oh, I think I did see that on your social media. Oh, how exciting!
Yeah.
I might have to drop my name in that bucket.
You have to.
The Bachelorette of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
I can see it now.
I love it.
Well,
I love it.
So how could people find you and connect with you?
Yeah, I'm at Carolina's Matchmaker on all the social channels, and they can also fill out a profile on carolinasmatchmaker.com. They can shoot me a DM, and that's how they can reach out.
And YouTube as well, same handle?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I think so.
Yes, it is. And I love you on social media. I have to say, you do a great job with your clips. They're really engaging. I love your YouTube shorts. I truly feel like I get things out of it all the time. And that's why I had to reach out to you and have you on. So truly, everyone has to follow her. It is great advice. And I wish I could talk to you more, but thank you so much for coming on. This was
I really
really
appreciate it.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're delightful
Thank
and
you.
adorable. And believe me, I cannot wait to see your profile and see if I have anyone special to set you up with.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to submit myself.
Definitely.
I trust you. Just talking with you now, I
Well,
trust you for sure.
thank
So
you.
thank you
That's
so
lovely.
much. And thank you for watching Love Amanda. I'm Amanda. You can watch full episodes on YouTube or listen to us on your favorite podcast platforms. Thank you. Love Amanda.